There will come a point in your life where you will be forced away from certain people, forced out of certain environments. And during that time, it can feel like the world is crashing down on you. It can be isolating. The attacks can come from everywhere. It could be spiritual attacks on your religion, attacks on your connection with Allah. It could be physical attacks, literally threatening your sense of safety and security in your life. It can also be intellectual attacks on your sense of purpose, your mission in life, whatever your goals are. People constantly belittling them or threatening them. During this time, it is important for you to understand that Allah often isolates in order to elevate. And if it feels isolating, if it feels lonely, it's supposed to feel that way. Certain environments are just not conducive to your growth. Think of a garden. Every plant will not be able to thrive under the same circumstances. So we are the same in the way that Allah knows the environment you need. He knows the people you need around you, the focus you need, the type of person you need to become in order to actualize your full potential. And so that's why He will allow these seasons in which it feels like everything is falling apart. Friendships are now falling down the drain. Family relationships are becoming more strained. A work environment that once felt inspiring now feel draining and limited. This is because to get to that next level, you have to release what's in the past. And that is the universal law of elevation. We see it within the stories of the prophets. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, when you look at his story, his brothers and his father and his childhood home, that was all he knew. He grew up around his brothers and being close to his father. And Allah had also blessed him with many currencies, many gifts. He had the gift of wisdom. Allah blessed him to be able to interpret dreams. Allah blessed him with beauty currency. He was a very beautiful man. And He gave him the gift of prophethood. And Allah knew what was in the hearts of the people around him, his brothers, the people who were so close to him. They had envy and jealousy in their hearts, and Allah allowed it to reach a point where they just had to get rid of him. And from the outside, it could look like such a humiliating and devastating thing to happen to a person, right? Being thrown in a well by people who you were close with, your own blood, your own brothers, and just left for dead. But Allah knew that in order for him to actualize his potential, in order for him to fulfill his prophethood, he could not stay in that same environment. And it was painful. It was painful for him. It was painful for his father. But the isolation had to happen for his elevation. Because if that never would have happened, we wouldn't have been able to gain all of those lessons from his story. He would have never really honed in on that gift of dream interpretation. Allah knew that. He would have never eventually become the prime minister. Allah blessed him for that struggle that he endured during that isolation. So what often looks like a breakdown in this realm is actually a build up. But in order to access that elevation, it needs to start within. Allah says in the Quran, and Allah will not change the condition of a person until they change what is within themselves. You need to change what is within you. You need to become the person that can carry out the mission that you were given, that can carry the du'as that you're praying for, the things that you're asking Allah for. You have to actually become that person. And so when you're isolated, that isolation is also a test for you. What do you value more? What people say, what society says is correct, what family may think of you, or what Allah says is right? What purpose and mission Allah gave you? What is more valuable? That is the decision that you have to make during this critical time. That shift within you must happen for the elevation. And you need to know that this time will not be easy. Once you're decentering others around you, once you decenter work, society, family, you will be attacked and called every name in the book. People will call you selfish, they'll call you mean, they'll call you arrogant, all because you are locking in and focusing on Allah's mission for you, what Allah says is right and what Allah says is wrong, and decentering everyone else. It's not easy, but it has to happen because this is teaching you to decenter others and center Allah. And the separation is a blessing because it removes all outside influences. During that time, Allah wants to bring you close to Him. And this separation is actually stripping away all low vibrations, negative influences, evil eye, toxic cycles to reveal who Allah really wants you to be so you can connect fully to Him. So if you're currently in a time like this where everything feels like it's falling apart, you need to do four things. One, you need to build up that spiritual currency, right? We spoke about spiritual currency in the last video. If you didn't watch it, go check that out. It is so important to build up your spiritual currency with Allah, connect with Allah. During this time, you need to nosedive into worship and connection with Allah because He will guide you. And Allah says that when a person seeks to be close to Him, He will become the eyes in which they can see, the ears in which they can hear. He will give you that wisdom and insight to what's around you, what is right, what is wrong, and what is the right path for you to take. And it will become easier and easier to navigate this time. And next, you need to audit what's around you. What environments are not serving Allah's purpose for you? What people are bringing you down? What people are drawing you towards negativity? What people are drawing you towards sin, towards self-doubt? You need to do an audit of your environment and remove those things. And third, you need to decenter others and center Allah. This is easier said than done because we were conditioned since childhood to put others' perception of us at the forefront. What are they going to think if I get this job? How are they going to react if I say this, if I do this? This is a part of our human programming. And while on one end, it's okay to make sure that we're not being offensive or we're not going out of our way to be rude to another person, during this time, you have to decenter because you are going to be perceived as that anyways. It's a hard pill to swallow, but when you're in this critical period, you have zero influence on how everybody is going to perceive your elevation because it's not for them to understand. It's something Allah gave you. It's between you and Him. So you have to decenter others. Decenter what they're going to think about you if you decide to leave that toxic work environment. Decenter what your family may think about you if you choose to be a little bit more private about your next endeavors. Keep what is most pleasing to Allah at the forefront. And fourth, you need to stay focused on the mission. What has Allah placed on your heart that you need to do in this world? Number one is be a servant of Allah, understanding that this life is not the end, understanding the full picture and game at play here. What does Allah have me here to do? What talents has He given me? What goals has He instilled into my heart that I really want to achieve? What is something that's not existent in this current realm that you want to bring and make a lasting positive change in this world? That's what you need to be focused on and working towards each day. I remember when I got my first big girl job and I was so excited. I was showing up to work basically walking on sunshine. I was inspired. I was creative on the job. I would get so many rave reviews from my managers, higher ups, everyone telling me I was doing such a good job and that they loved my work. And overall was just feeling super aligned and happy. It went on for a while, then all of a sudden, everything started falling apart. Boom, now there's an issue amongst the staff. There's drama, it's toxicity amongst the staff. Boom, now the actual work environment is threatening me physically. And it got to a point that within a span of a week, I was hit with incident on top of incident, and my back got against the wall. It came to a point where I was like, if I stay in this environment, I would be actively working against myself. I would be signing up for poor mental health, signing up for physical danger. And so Allah will have that happen. He will have things suddenly fall apart. And I didn't know at the time, but I was on the brink of a breakthrough. Allah will allow these situations to happen because now you've gathered what you needed to gather from that situation. You've brought what you needed to bring to that environment. And now it's time for you to go somewhere else and repeat it all again. And finally, you need to protect your peace. During this time, there will be a lot of distractions thrown at you. You have to protect your peace and your heart during this time because if you don't, you will easily lose sight of what's happening. So whatever the attacks are coming from, figure out how you can reduce its harm from you. So if it's happening on social media, cut off the social media usage. If it's happening via gossip or waswas from friends or whatever the case, cut off or limit interactions with those people. And when it comes to family, it doesn't require severing the family ties. We know that's not something that we promote or engage in, but Allah encourages wisdom. So using wisdom in certain situations and environments and asking Allah, how can I maintain my commitment and my requirement as a Muslim family member without causing myself harm, causing my mental health harm, or causing my mission harm? And He will guide you to the best suited way to go about it for you. So, if you're currently going through a season like this, stay connected to your mission. Stay close to Allah, and inshallah, you will leave this season a greater version of yourself, one who has more wisdom, one who's closer to their purpose, and overall, more aligned with who Allah created them to be.